Welcome, welcome. Dr. Stephen Hobbs here from the WELLth movement. This is an orientation video to what is going to unfold through the work of WELLth movement. I'm the CEO and founder of the WELLth movement, and there have been many people along the years who've assisted me to get to this point in time. So I would like to celebrate that I have stood on the shoulders of giants. With that, I have a picture here that I'm going to go over, and that is going to outline where I am taking WELLth movement as I move through 2021. So with that, just before I jump into it and explain a little bit more about what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to encourage you to subscribe and ring the bell to get more notifications, and to comment, like, and share. I appreciate it when I get to hear from you, and I can interact in that way. So there's lots of learning that can happen in both directions. Now, with the picture that's here, I want to be able to illustrate that there are 5 core elements to 2021. In other words, 5 keywords that link to keyword phrases. And they're here in this diagram. And they're an interaction around the concept of WELLth, W-E-L-L-T-H, which is about well-being and well-living to the nth degree. And therefore, the movement that I'm working with results in the name WELLth movement. Now, there's a complementary piece to it, which is the notion of wealth profitability, in that where you are taking care of yourself and finding ways in which to live your extraordinary life, there are elements of creating well-living workplaces where you interact with others as you contribute through your work efforts, your volunteer efforts in being for the world. So I'll be touching on the connection between WELLth movement and wealth profitability, with the focus on these 5 words, these 5 keyword phrases. So just to go over them with you, again, WELLth, I've just explained a little bit about that. What we're going to do is look to work with grandparents, or those who are 55 years plus. That's 55 years young. And we're going to take a look at the notion of the grandparents' grandchildren, because there's a key element of trees that's going to weave in and out of the work that I'm doing, both literally and metaphorically. Another component is legacy. Now, from a living your great life, or to evolve your legacy in being for the world, there's much to explore and unpack for you. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So grandparents and their legacy, just as the trees are interacting with eco-creation. There is the notion of taking action all the way up to eco-creation, where what you're doing is creating mindful of ecological literacy and ethical values. So we'll be unpacking that and how each component interacts with one another. Now, the other element here is, remember I spoke about wealth and wealth. So there's going to be learning and educating that's going to be taking place. And this is where I'll be calling on a lot of other people to help me out. There are a group of those who I'll interact with, who I'll call WELLthers. There are those who are doing some primary work with me, and then there are those that I'm going to interact with who I believe have something fantastic or wondrous to share with you, and I'll be doing video interviews with them. Now, the other component that's unfolding for me is that I'm doing a lot of international work in the funding of infrastructure projects. It's something I didn't necessarily see coming over the last couple of years, but it is now on my desk and I'm working with it. And this international work is a fabulous way for me to be able to apply what I have learned over the years. because I have worked internationally and I have worked here in Canada, United States, on different kinds of projects linked to organization development, which then leads itself into the infrastructure projects. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be balancing off what's called steep with SHIMS against story. So it's sort of like a three-dimensional diagram here. And STEEP stands for social, cultural, technological, environmental, economic, and political. These are elements of what's happening around us, that where the change comes, and what we do is we transition to that change. And one of the ways in which we transition is through SHIMS, which is stakeholders, horizontal, integration, management, systems. Let me share a little bit more. There are the stakeholders, those involved, all the different kind of stakeholders in projects and programs that are going to be interacting with us, and we're interacting with them. On a horizontal basis is that a lot of work is done on vertical work in terms of the build and the digs. What I'm doing is I'm cutting across all of those verticals and looking at how we might be able to do what's called the integration of those different verticals to ensure no trees are growing up through what it is we're building. The management component is about project management and doing it from this horizontal integrative way. I'm not going to be diving into the project management on the verticals as much as the project management across. And that's one of my, if we want to call it superpowers, is that I can map out horizontally what's happening, even in entrepreneurial businesses, to be able to see the bigger picture and then figure out where one has to go into to be able to do the tactics and operational level work. And then the S is for safer. If you're going to be doing this project management, this integrated project management on a horizontal basis with all stakeholders, you want to make sure that it's safer for everyone. And therefore, this notion of being able to be safer on a psychological, the physical, the spiritual side of the story is important. Now, the story element here stands for strategy, tactics, operations, relevance, and answering the question why. Because a story is unfolding at a strategy level, tactical level, operational level, so that you can do what is relevant, always mindful of the question, why are we doing it? And I will go so far as to say I believe that there's another question that needs to be asked, which is, whole is it? In other words, what is the fitness of this project or program that you're working on? So those three elements that we're going to look at more and more, and I'll be using case examples as we move through the years to come. Now, another component of my contribution is around trees every day. When I first came across this one, it was about a way in which to celebrate trees and how they help us on an everyday basis. I could have said trees everywhere, and that would have suggested maybe the planting of the trees. Well, that's an element of it. The trees every day is a constant reminder of the importance of trees, both literal and metaphorically. And with that, I'm actually going to be creating a magazine that will be coming out at minimum at least 6 times a year. That will also then unfold the world of legacy decoded, this legacy story, decoding it through the story of elder, mentor, celebrant, weaver, and magnificent. And you'll learn more about those as time goes by. Some of my earlier videos in 2021 were about this component. Now, these lines underneath it are actually representative of the different levels of work that I'm going to be doing. So the first one is with entrepreneurs. There are those entrepreneurs who are interacting in this nature-based outdoor way with their different customers and clients. And what might I do to be able to strengthen what they are about, what they're offering based on some of the experience I have over the years? The next one is about a service club that I'm interacting with, and they are themselves supporting a tree planting program in another country. So I'm a member of that service club, so I'm going to figure out ways that I can help them and that you can learn how to be in service through a volunteer capacity. How might that even unfold for you? But also to report on the progress of where we're going with this, because youth are involved, and therefore grandparents and grandchildren, there's a connection here. The next line is for a group who are setting in motion an international movement based on the tree of life and the importance of intention. They've asked me to get involved with them, and I've said yes. And so I'm helping them out on this worldwide movement to get the story of intention into every nook and cranny of the world so that children are able to learn about intention and how it might influence and guide them in the living of their great life as they move through their teenage years, their youthful years, into being those who are contributing in whatever way makes sense to that child. The next one is around an ecoregion in Africa, and I'm supporting the funding and the unfolding of the project management. This is where this one will certainly come in. And I'll be reporting on it and how it's doing, where the funding is coming from, and how people are being able to benefit from this within the communities. And this one's going to be quite a fabulous one because it's also placed through my philanthropic efforts that I can help to do planting of trees and to be able to encourage the development of experience-based educators. It's something I've been wanting to do after my time in Africa working, and to be able to share with teachers and those in the communities how to develop extraordinary experiences in their communities. And again, I'm going to learn so much from those I interact with. I'm looking forward to this component. The next one is to work on a smart city concept. This is a grand idea of the new future of creating smart cities, interacting with ecoregions, and what does that mean? The project work that I'm doing in here, the infrastructure work, has me working on a couple of different projects. And so it'll be interesting to see how what I have here will unfold in that smart city ecoregion. So those are the 5 large project programs that I'm working on as I contribute my efforts. Now, there's another component to what I do, which is the international mentoring community. I'm a co-founder of that organization, and through it, we do the certification of mentors. Another area that I'm interacting with, which links back to the trees every day, is called Right for Shade. And this is where I'm curating and collecting stories and writing stories with WELLthers and other authors about writing for shade. In other words, being able to share the stories, raise some money to be able to find ways in which to shade schools. So write, WRITE, to get the authors involved, so that what we can do is provide shade opportunities in places around the world where there are schools, and I've seen this myself, where there's no shade for the kids to do their reading, writing, and arithmetic under. And I thought that this might be a great way to contribute in a philanthropic way. The other component here is to help those who are a little skittish about writing to learn how to write and to write for adults, write for children, and bring that forward. So let's see how that all unfolds, and you'll be able to catch the books and videos and all that that we'll be creating in this Write for Shade that is supporting this work as well. Now, the other component that's going to unfold is the notion of an ecosystem. One of the areas that I have developed a great understanding is my own ecosystem in terms of how I work and I live in terms of creating my extraordinary life. And it's going to unfold in workshops that I can offer for others to figure out the ecosystem in which they are interacting. And therefore, this interaction around the ecosystem, this dynamic that is unfolding, is made up of the following components. There's a map and plan that is available. And to create your map so that you can understand your plan, the map of the overall area in which you're going to work with, and the plan of the steps that you want to take. And you're going to balance that off by the creation of your blueprint and landscape. Now, in this way, the blueprint is what you are going to build. The landscape is what you're going to grow. And I'll be making a distinction about that. But what's happening here is this blueprint landscape will actually give you your gyro compass. I think we understand what a compass is. A gyro compass is one in which a sailboat would use it, and it's able to continue to point in the direction that you want to go while dealing with all the different kind of movement of the waves and everything. A sailboat, just like in life, there's just so much things, there's so many things that are going on in our life that this gyro compass, using your blueprint, your landscape, will be of great assistance to you. The other component is the consideration of belonging, being, and becoming. In our lives, we belong somewhere. Now that shifts over time, and our being, about being and being fully human and being natural and being planetary and being Solaris, being with the cosmos, is a sort of life story that continues to unfold for us. And how might we explore that in becoming that person that is truly being for the world? And I'd like to explore that with those of you who wish to jump into the workshops and programs that we have that will be made available with and for you. And then the last element is there is a pathway that you're going to take. And that pathway, those stepping stones. Now, in some ways, it might be a road, a paved road, or it might be a meadow path. It might be one that has deep snow, no one's walked it, and you're the first one to walk it. So there are different pathways that will open up for you as well. And what will happen is along the way, there'll be the lamps that you can carry with you. And these might be life awareness mapping program to make it safer for yourself on a personal basis, or it might be leadership and management program to make it safer for yourself. There's a number of different kinds of courses, short courses that will be made available. Now, all of this I've experienced. I am bringing it forward so that you might experience, and where possible, where I can create extraordinary experiences and engage with you as you help me to create extraordinary experiences, or extraordinary experiences I can join with you. One of the elements that I'll be doing in my Etchings in Sand program, which is a mentor heart program, think mastermind, however, doing it from a mentoring and heart perspective. In one of those mentor hearts, I will interact with you in creating programs for you in terms of what you want to to develop and deliver. And I will join you as someone who can speak from stage with you, or someone who can join you in your videos. There are ways that I can interact with you based on your requires and requests of me. So this is what's going to be unfolding. Again, these are the elements, the audience, the key words that will lead to the phrases. I'll always be balancing up the complementarity of wealth and wealth, thus the wealth movement and wealth profitability. Ever mindful of whatever project or program you're working on, to be mindful of those three words and how they weave together, and then to experience the different aspects of like the day-to-day work of trees every day, and the writing, and being an elder, being a mentor and certified as a mentor, and then being able to unfold the story of ecosystem that you can create for yourself and being for the world. So on the surface, you might go, whoa, there's a lot there, but really it's all going to unfold in a very natural way that will be of value to you. And I would encourage you to watch other videos on this channel, my Wealth Learning TV channel on YouTube, and therefore subscribe, ring the bell, and always comment, like, and share, because we can then interact together. But also you might be viewing this on my webpage or in my blog. Whatever way you come to this video, there will be somewhere around it where you can interact with me in ways that I can be of service to you. I truly want to be of help. I'm not looking to hinder. And I also recognize when I may not be of service, and therefore I will tap into my network to find those who could and can be of assistance to you that you can then speak with. At any given time, I'm just encouraging us to make it happen for you, because with you, then you're being for the world, and the world will benefit in this wonder and wander way of living your extraordinary life. So what I'd like to do then is just share with you is to live your extraordinary life. There are elements of this that will be of assistance. There may be others that are not. To be able to evolve your legacy, there's something here that might be of help to you. In creating or co-creating the well-living workplace, you might find elements of this that might be of assistance. And also in terms of being for the world and helping you to ground yourself and to gain more wisdom to be able to interact with others, there might be something here that's of value. And I would share that this whole story here is really around the mission that I have for my life, my work, and that's to eco-create the wealthy world. Eco-create in the sense of create it through an eco lens with others, so that we can balance up the story of wealth with an L and wealth with an A. Wealth with an L, to listen, to love, to lead. The wealth with an A for accounts and accrue and accountability, this interaction, this dynamic that's available to us in our lives at this point in time. Now that might change in the years to come, but right now there is this balancing of wealth with an L, wealth with an A. And it's for the world. And one of the things that you'll come to understand is that for you and with you is a word for the world. And that might actually be the greatest point of entry. And therefore, around this video will be a link, a button that you can click to access the Word for the World free course. So I encourage you to find that and to take that course. It's not long at all. And that word that you find is like a key that opens up the ecosystem that allows you to grow and build what it is that you wish to contribute for the world. So with that, I welcome you and take care.